for a comment she made on her podcast. Sophie Cunningham's week that keeps on giving has hit a new high. She started out the week on Good Morning America, and now she is closing out the week starring in an Adidas commercial highlighting the new shoes that are about to be released. Sophie Cunningham has taken the ball and ran with it. For that, Sophie Cunningham, kudos to you. Making lemonade out of the lemons that you've been given. Capitalizing on your newfound fame, your newfound stardom. Being a part of the Indiana Fever. Defending Caitlin Clark. You got
Electric Pink, Z9999. The Adidas commercial dropped, cementing Sophie Cunningham's viral fame as a bona fide star. But as the world celebrated her epic new deal, Sophie herself sparked an unexpected firestorm, openly declaring her desire for a bigger contract and listing cities other than Indiana for her future. The timing was brutal, the message undeniable. Her newfound status, amplified by Adidas, put the Indiana Fever in an impossible position. Was she using her exploding brand to force their hand, or signaling an imminent departure? The league collectively held its breath, wondering if this commercial was a celebration or a strategic power play that could shatter the Fever's championship dreams before they even began. This was not just a shoe ad, it was a battle cry for her worth, echoing through every front office.
So, lads, today we're going to be talking a little bit about Sophie Cunningham. Why? Because Sophie Cunningham's podcast has got a lot of people saying, giving their opinions on this, and people don't realize how good Sophie Cunningham is at basketball, and how important having Sophie Cunningham is for the Fever winning a championship. Look, there is a caveat, and the caveat is Caitlin Clark on the team? If the answer is yes, then I'm not joking when I say
Sophie Cunningham was everywhere, from Good Morning America to a flurry of endorsement deals like Arby's and a ring company. Her trajectory skyrocketed. But it was the Adidas commercial, highlighting new X colorways and Damian Lillard's Z999 shoes that truly signaled a new era. This wasn't just a cameo, it was undeniably her commercial, positioning her as a central figure, not just an alongside star. Adidas, acutely aware of her skyrocketing TikTok and Instagram numbers, recognized the raw marketing power she now wielded. They saw the money, the star potential, and hit the push button, capitalizing on her overnight sensation to convert eyeballs into sales. This wasn't a coincidence, it was a perfectly timed strategic move, building on her momentum, culminating in this high-profile ad that changed everything for her brand. The question remained, what would this mean for her team?
Fans asking the question, is Sophie Cunningham coming back? Are the Fever front office going to blow this? Are the Fever front office going to offer her a max contract? Before we get into it, would you guys offer Sophie Cunningham a max contract? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe. Let's get right into the commercial that has people talking about Sophie Cunningham as of late.
All new X colorways from Adidas and Damian Lillard.
Say night-night to your opponent in night purple. Be in your element with black sulfur. Or cause a shock with electric pink.
Where's Electric Pink?
The commercial itself was a bold statement from Adidas, bypassing typical star-studded lineups to give Sophie center stage. The Electric Pink nickname, paired with her fiery on-court persona, was a marketing dream come true. This rollout, featuring her prominently, was meticulously planned, not a stroke of luck. It was a calculated move designed to maximize exposure, leveraging her recent GMA appearance and burgeoning social media presence. Adidas saw the untapped potential, not just in a player, but in a brand magnet. This level of solo endorsement for a WNBA player, especially with such impactful timing, showcased her undeniable value and hinted at the growing power she now held in the basketball landscape. But could the Fever keep pace with her rising star?
Who is Caitlin Clark on the team? If the answer is yes, then I'm not joking when I say this. Sophie Cunningham is a way better fit than Lexi Hall. Way better. Like, I don't mind. I'd keep both. And you can afford to keep both. But Sophie is a way better fit than Lexi Hall. If Caitlin Clark is on the team. if you are running it back with a Kelsey Mitchell-led team, where it's a lot of, for lack of a better word,
Then came the bombshell. Sophie didn't mince words about her next contract. She expressed a clear desire for a bigger contract to buy a house and be homey and cozy, casually listing potential landing spots like New York City, Minnesota Lynx, or many apps, signaling a willingness to explore options beyond Indiana. This wasn't a subtle hint, it was a direct challenge to the Fever front office. Her comments made public during the peak of her viral fame set off alarm bells for fans and management alike. Was this a genuine desire for a new home, or a strategic negotiation tactic, using her newfound leverage to secure a higher value deal? The implications were massive for the Fever's roster stability.
Adidas.com. Availability, sizing, color, website address, and prices may vary by region. Please check with local retailer. And remember, always game time responsibly.
This is pretty much a Sophie Cunningham commercial, let's be honest here. This isn't her alongside another WNBA player. This isn't her alongside another NBA player. This is a Sophie Cunningham commercial selling these new Dame shoes. Adidas sees the money that Sophie Cunningham is, see the star that she is becoming, that she continues to become, and said, yep, we're going to capitalize on that. She's already been underneath the brand. She's already been affiliated with Adidas, and they said, let's push that.
The core dilemma for the Indiana Fever immediately became clear. How do they handle Sophie's demands when they're already planning for future max contracts for Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston? While Sophie might not command a max deal, her expectation of a substantial raise could complicate their salary cap flexibility. The team would need to determine if a quality contract, something close to a max, perhaps $500 Ks, $600 Ks per year, would be enough to retain her. Offering her a max could potentially hinder their ability to keep their foundational stars. This wasn't just about Sophie's value, it was about the delicate balancing act required to build a championship contending roster with limited resources.
shoots better regardless of volume. She is a better slasher than Lexi. She is a better three-point shooter than Lexi. She's a better passer than Lexi. Her offensive IQ is higher than Lexi. Her ability to be a defensive stopper is higher than Lexi. But Lexi Hull is the best in the league at what she does. Like, this is not me saying you choose one or the other. But which one fits significantly better beside Caitlin Clark? Like, archetype role, what you need beside a Caitlin Clark? Sophie. When Lexi touches the ball's gone up. And this isn't like a knock on Lexi. I want to keep both of them. But like Sophie...
Despite her contract demands, many analysts argue Sophie Cunningham is borderline irreplaceable for the Fever, especially alongside Caitlin Clark. Her unique skill set, a versatile defender who can play 1-4, a low-volume scorer, a solid three-point shooter, and a lateral passer, makes her a perfect fit. Unlike specialists, she does a whole bunch of things to help Caitlin Clark specifically win a ring. Her ability to keep the ball moving and contribute without dominating possessions is crucial for a team built around high-usage players like Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. To lose her would mean sacrificing a critical connective piece, essential for team chemistry and tactical flexibility on the court.
Let's get some of those eyeballs onto our product, and hopefully that can help convert some sales. Sophie Cunningham, salute to you. So many people would love to buy some Sophie Cunningham Adidas merchandise. Please make it happen. Don't want a PE. I want her own shoe. I gotta be honest. The term electric pink for Sophie Cunningham, electric pink? Applause. Kudos. Marketing. Dollars. I don't hate that.
Her fit with Caitlin Clark is a primary reason for her perceived indispensability. When Clark is on the team, Sophie is considered a way better fit than an Lexi Hull. While Lexi Hull is exceptional at high-volume shooting, Sophie excels regardless of volume, making her ideal for a team with multiple primary scorers. She's a better slasher, three-point shooter, and passer, with a higher offensive IQ and defensive stopping ability. In a lineup with Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, players who can score on low volume, lock down defensively, and move the ball are paramount. Sophie embodies this, providing a crucial balance that allows the star players to shine without sacrificing overall team cohesion.
Sophie as the kind of 2-3, like most of our biggest games and our best games, before the playoffs were with Sophie on the floor. But what people don't understand is that she has an ability to play 1 through 4. Like, look, she's not a great point guard. She can't really dribble the ball, but she can set up that offense. Like, you can set up an offense through her. She will get the ball moving side to side. Like, she has more of a point guard brain than any player in the Fever not named Caitlin Clark. She passes laterally. She is the only...
The argument against replacing Sophie with a specialist is fierce. Critics contend that finding a player in the draft or free agency who can replicate Sophie's multifaceted contributions is nearly impossible. Many available players might excel at one thing, like shooting, but lack defensive versatility or the ability to facilitate offense on low volume. The call for a 3-and-no-D guard is seen as a major flaw, as such players cannot stay on the floor to make an impact. Sophie's proven track record, having started in a WNBA Finals and argued by some as the Fever's best player over a 10-game stretch last year, highlights her elite utility and game-changing potential that can't be easily replicated.
This little rollout that we got for Sophie Cunningham this week, it's not a coincidence. I'm sure this commercial was shot weeks ago or months ago, but it's no coincidence that we have Good Morning America on Monday and we close out with an Adidas commercial. That's how this is done. You build and you build and you build, you reach that climax, boom, hit them with the commercial. Salute to Sophie Cunningham. I like the nicknames. Extra Spicy, Electric Pink, absolutely awesome. I'm so happy to see Sophie coining it. I'd like her to get enough money to buy a house so that she can play for the team she wants to play for, not be focused on the earnings.
Her pre-Fever career also adds weight to her current leverage. Even before her explosive season with Indiana, Sophie had already built considerable cachet with the Phoenix Mercury, known as MAGA Barbie, and cultivating a significant TikTok and Instagram following. She wasn't an unknown. This year, aligning with Caitlin Clark merely took her existing star power to another level, accelerating her marketability. She didn't just capitalize on Clark's arrival, she built upon an already established personal brand, demonstrating her savvy in navigating the off-court aspects of professional basketball. This pre-existing foundation makes her current viral fame, and subsequently her contract demands, less surprising and more impactful.
Get the ball moving side to side. Like, she has more of a point guard brain than any player in the Fever not named Caitlin Clark. She passes laterally. She is the only player not named Aaliyah Boston who swings the rock on the entire team. But fans are so obsessed with, we need to get a max contract small forward. No, we don't. We have 3 max contract players. We don't need any more. We saw Jewel Lloyd take an entire season to learn how to become a role player. They did not need Jewel Lloyd to be Jewel Lloyd. They needed Jewel Lloyd, the role player. And it took her a season to figure it out. We already have that player. We have that.
The Fever's financial position, despite initial appearances, might actually afford them more flexibility than assumed, with Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston on rookie contracts, essentially free contracts given their production versus salary. The team has significant cap space. Their combined salary is less than a single rookie from this year's class. This frees up 8 to 9 spots under the salary cap, allowing them to potentially sign 4 max contracts, or at least a few near-max deals. The notion that paying Sophie a substantial contract would break the bank ignores the unique financial advantage the Fever currently holds, making her retention entirely feasible if they choose to prioritize it.
She wants the house money, no pun intended, to come from a basketball team. She wants the house money to come from her main job, so to speak, playing basketball. And who's going to give her that contract? Well, Sophie Cunningham speaks on what she wants in her next contract.
And I think the next team I play for, I want a bigger contract, so then I can buy a house and be homey and cozy.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. That could be the Liberty. It could be New York City. It could also be the Lynx, and it could be Minneapolis. Like, you just don't know.
It could be anywhere.
Now, here's the thing with Sophie Cunningham.
The argument that Sophie is irreplaceable extends to her unique point guard brain and lateral passing ability, a rare trait not named Caitlin Clark or Aaliyah Boston on the Fever roster. She can set up the offense and get the ball moving side to side, acting as a crucial connector. This isn't about being a traditional point guard, but her basketball IQ and passing vision are vital. Fans obsess over finding a max contract small forward, but the team already has a player who can fill that role effectively and contribute in ways a pure scorer cannot. She's the player that already knows how to be a Jewel Lloyd role player, someone who adapts to the team's needs rather than requiring a season to learn.
They did not need Jewel Lloyd to be Jewel Lloyd. They needed Jewel Lloyd, the role player. And it took her a season to figure it out. We already have that player. We have that player that can do what Jewel Lloyd did in the playoffs, and it's Sophie. Like, let's not forget, at the time of her injury, she had literally gone through a 10-game stretch when you could argue that she was the Fever's best player. You could argue she was the Fever's best player over a 10-game stretch right before she got injured. Like, she's fantastic, and there are not many other Sophie Cunninghams in the league. Like, Kayla McBride might be like the one player I'm like, okay.
Replacing Sophie Cunningham effectively could mean signing 3 different players, not just one to replicate her shooting, another for her defensive versatility, and a third for her connective offensive play and willingness to accept any role. Finding a single player who can seamlessly slide into diverse situations and perform at a 7 out of 10 rate across multiple positions is nearly impossible to find. A unicorn in the league. This isn't just about raw talent, it's about the unique blend of skills, adaptability, and team-first mentality that Sophie embodies. The cost of replacing her, both financially and in terms of roster spots, would likely exceed the cost of simply keeping.
Yes, that moment against the Connecticut Sun where she put J.C. Sheldon in a headlock while putting her fists up, crazy work. Nice work. That took her to a level above that. But even when she was on the Phoenix Mercury, Sophie Cunningham did have some cachet. Sophie Cunningham was building a name for herself as far as her TikTok goes, as far as her Instagram goes, as far as her likeness goes, as far as her appeal goes. She already had the nickname MAGA Barbie, like it or not, over there in Phoenix Mercury. So she already had some
The Fever leadership is left with a stark choice: pay Sophie Cunningham a competitive contract, even if it's near max, or risk dismantling a crucial piece of their championship puzzle. The idea of offering a 1-year max deal is floated as a potential solution, allowing the team flexibility while still rewarding Sophie's value. With Kelsey Mitchell not on a max contract, and Clark and Boston on rookie deals, the Fever can afford 4 max contracts. This cap space should be leveraged to retain key players like Sophie, not just to bring in new talent. This isn't about being cheap, it's about smart resource allocation for a team with genuine championship aspirations.
There's no player in the draft. If anyone tries to tell me that one-dimensional 3-and-no-D Garzone is a good player, and this is the problem, is like, everyone wants these specialists, Jesus, but they do one thing. I'm like, I don't care if Gianna Niepkins can shoot 40% from 3. If she can't guard a parked car, she's not going to be able to stay on the floor long enough to shoot 40, to make an impact. Like, people are like, oh, we can get these players like Garzone, Niepkins. Like, people are actually saying that these are players that are comparable to Sophie Cunningham.
If the Indiana Fever opts to let Sophie walk, it would send a clear message. The narrative is that if the Indian and a Fever want to get rid of Sophie, it's because they want to get rid of Sophie. This isn't a salary cap necessity, but a deliberate decision. Such a move would drastically lower your championship window, not just for next year, but for the foreseeable future. Trading away a perfect fit player who helps Caitlin Clark win a ring, especially when they can afford her, would be a critical misstep. It implies a preference for accidental basketball over a strategically built, cohesive team designed for sustained success.
Now the question is, what is she talking about as far as the deal goes? Are we talking $400,000 a year over the next 4 years? That's house money. That's enough for a house. $600,000 per year over the next 4 years. What, a 4-year, $24 million contract? $2.4 million contract. Excuse me. 4-year, $2.4 million contract. She gets $600,000 a year. That's enough for a house. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a max contract to get Sophie Cunningham to stay on the Indiana Fever. It just needs to be a quality contract. We respect what
Sophie's recent comments about wanting a bigger contract and mentioning other cities can be interpreted as a power play, signaling that she understands her market value and won't settle for less. Adidas, by making her the face of their new line, essentially validated this rising worth. The tension with the Fever isn't just about money, it's about recognition. Sophie, leveraging her individual brand growth, is demanding that the team meet her new status. This commercial, far from being just a simple ad, became a public declaration of her enhanced value, putting the ball squarely in the Fever's court to respond.
And they can still put together a real championship winning team by keeping Sophie. And to replace Sophie Cunningham, you are going to lower your championship window. Because to replace Sophie, you literally are going to replace what Sophie does, you might need to sign 3 players. To replace what Sophie gives you as a with her shooting, you need to sign somebody. To replace what Sophie gives you as her defensive versatility, I'm not saying she's a great defender, but what I'm saying is she has the ability to be a 6 out of 10 defender at 3 different positions. To replace that versatility, you need another player. To replace
The implication of Sophie's comments in the Adidas commercial is that she now possesses significant individual leverage. She's too good looking and has enough of a following to secure deals with or without the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. Her marketability transcends her team affiliation, giving her options beyond basketball contracts. This newfound independence complicates negotiations for the Fever, as she's not solely reliant on team salary. Her brand is becoming an entity unto itself, forcing the Fever to compete not just with other teams, but with the fear of her blossoming off-court career and the potential for greater financial opportunities elsewhere. Ultimately, the Adidas commercial acted as a powerful public endorsement of Sophie Cunningham's soaring star power, simultaneously igniting a critical discussion about her future with the Indiana Fever. Her contract demands, voiced during this peak of viral fame, put the organization in a difficult, high-stakes position. Do they commit significant resources to retain a player deemed irreplaceable by many, a player whose unique skill set perfectly complements their foundational stars? Or do they risk losing a crucial piece of their championship puzzle, potentially sacrificing future success for perceived financial prudence? The decisions made in the coming months will define the Fever's trajectory. The saga of Sophie Cunningham and the Indiana Fever represents a modern dilemma in professional sports: how teams navigate the rising individual brands of their players. The Adidas commercial wasn't just a marketing success, it was a catalyst, amplifying Sophie's voice and her demands. If the Fever fails to meet her value, they risk not just losing a player, but dismantling a carefully constructed vision around Caitlin Clark. The choice is clear: prioritize the perfect fit and championship aspirations, or face the consequences of undervaluing a player whose star is burning brighter than ever. Their decision will reverberate far beyond the court, shaping their destiny.